meadery, and in 4 months it was declined because you can't live at the place of brewing.
Oh. What?
So,
what state are you in? You're in California, right?
Why? No, I'm in Wyoming.
You're in Wyoming. Okay. Really? So, because that's not the case in some places.
Correct.
What was that, David?
You know, the building or on the land.
Interesting.
You can't live in the same building.
Okay. So if I own
you can't live in the brewing facility.
Okay, good.
Or you can't put the brewing facility in your basement, as the case may be.
Oh, you caught me. That's what I was called. You know, when I really got into brewing after learning this recipe, that's one reason why we called it the underground meadery, is how I got really a lot of people to drink my meads is I'm a registered friar.
Oh.
And I do hand fastings, broom jumpings, and
cool.
So you would pay us to come and perform your wedding, and if it was bringing liquor and champagne to the event, we brought our mead.
Nice.
And that's how we got our meadery kind of, and our meads out, is doing performing weddings. I mean, the original honeymoon mead, right, was the take of it and all the stuff. So that's how we got a lot of our meads out. And now I do mead making classes, and that's how we get to sample all the meads. Is you pay to come to the class, and as you're at the class, you get to sample all the meads that we have. So people then get to try our meads that way. And then I do like special events, like a gentleman will tell me, he says, hey, you know, we'd like you to come down, and would you be able to donate some mead? I'll pay for your trip down and pay for your room and board and stuff, and while you're down here, you can do this class and people can try your meads. And I have some other people, you know, like I do this for Jack Spirko down in Texas, but I also have some other pretty famous people that I actually make meads for and do classes for them or do events for them, and then they'll give a donation back. That way I'm not selling anything. They're just donating for the funds it costs to make the mead, and not necessarily that I'm selling it. And one of them is actually...
I have to do much the same things here if I want to recoup any costs, because I can't sell it. So what I do is I will offer you a bottle of mead, a kilogram of honey. So that's my standard trade, and that's you know, there's no taxes on any of it, so it's perfectly legal as far as I'm concerned.
Well, one of them is the gentleman. He used to play for the Florida Panthers, and he's a world football champion. His name's Bill, and he used to play for the Florida Panthers. And
nice.
When I met him, he loves my braggot, and so when he has like a Thanksgiving event, I go to his place and I help him brew, where he contributes a donation for my time to help him brew.
Don't worry, I'm a Ranger fan. So since I'm a Ranger fan, there's no worries about the Florida Panthers.
Well, he's paying for training, not for mead.
Yeah, he's paying for your time.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, he's paying for my time. That my time was worth something, and then since I'm not marking up the ingredients, and I haven't pitched the yeast, it's not fermentated, and then I'm just helping him as a friend to rack it, and then to keg it and stuff for his events and his parties, stuff that he does. And I'm compensated for my time.
Is he out by you, or is he still here in Florida?
No, he's up here in Wyoming. He actually just he was after he quit football and came back from Europe after winning I think that he was a world champion tight end. He ended up coming back, and he lives here in Wyoming because we're a tax-free state. And he just kind of hangs out here. Football? He's got some rings I'd love to have. I think his rings are more expensive than probably most of the stuff I own.
Oh. Wait, well, when you said Florida Panthers, I thought you meant hockey.
No, he's a football. He's played football.
Oh.
North Carolina Panther, I guess would it be. He was from Florida, and he traveled, and he played for the Panthers.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. We have the Hurricane hockey team now, and I guess that's all we need. So.
Okay.
And sometimes they actually play good hockey, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, every once in a while. They don't play hockey the real way, you know. Go ahead, Hammond. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't have a television in 12 years. I spend my time teaching and doing beekeeping, making mead, and right now, this whole week, man, has been so booked up for me. I have a gentleman. We go in the morning and we film beekeeping classes for Perma Ethos, and then my afternoons I'm working at this school, and I'm learning American Sign Language because an elementary school wants me to play Santa for some kids that are deaf and hard of hearing. So I'm learning to sign so I can be a signing Santa for an elementary school. So
cute.
my days are full.
Do you have a favorite yeast that you use when you make mead?
I like a D47. I like Red Star. Red Star products, I think, are pretty reliable for their price. I mean, they're pennies on a dollar to get their yeast, and I think they're pretty reliable. I've done some of my own yeast cultures. I took a class on culturing yeast, and I'm not very good at it. So, when I make sizers, I always use a Nottingham. Nottingham seems to be a good yeast for sizers. Most of mine, due to the fact that I'm adding anywhere from 3 to 4 pounds of honey per gallon, and if I want a dry mead, right, I'm using the Red Star Champagne yeast. It's pretty reliable. It lasts long in a good sugar set and high alcohol ratio. If I let it open and I let it stay flat, it flattens it out, doesn't make the bubbling or champagne pops. I think it's pretty reliable. And I think my largest batches that I'm making right now is like for my King's Mead, I'm making 68 gallons or to 70 gallon barrel that I'm making it out of. I do 2 55-gallon barrels. I've got 5 12-gallon barrels. I have 15 5-gallon, 3 gallon, and then I don't know, man. I have a crap load of 1-gallon jugs because that's like my claim to fame is the 1-gallon mead maker.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's man, I can turn out 20 different meads in one day, and in 30 days I can probably rack them and get them to start cold crashing and stuff to get them so I can bottle them.
That's a lot of 1-gallon racks there.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I ended up getting these. They look like plastic. They're plastic reusable wine bags. Have you ever seen those?
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to use now because, man, bottles are so expensive, and then a lot of people come by and they say, hey, do you have any mead for me to try? And so after a while, they just come by with one of those refillable things and say, well, try this and tell me what you think of it. Now I can just fill those little like plastic bags up, and they can try me and tell me what they think of the different meads and stuff with it. Right now,
yeah, well, it's not inexpensive. I just got a delivery of two. You would think it's as little as 24, like 750 milliliter bottles with the bar top corks, and it was like over $100 just to get them here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. These little bags are $1.25 a piece.
That's,
ouch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that beats heck out of $100 just to get a couple cases of bottles there. I thought I heard Hamish start to speak up earlier, and we ran over top of him. Haim, you got something you wanted to add?
Sorry, Haim.
Yeah, I was just wondering, one of the biggest issues we have over here in Australia with making mead is that there's plenty of information out available, but all the information about honeys is about honey that we can't get, we can't taste, and we can't appreciate or understand. Now, you said you've brought in honeys from all around the world, and you've got the Manuka honey and stuff from New Zealand. What can you tell me about the Australian gum and eucalypt honeys and how they relate to what we might be able to find out about honeys online from America?
You mean differentiating like Australian honey from American honey?
Yeah, well, all I can get is Australian honey. And so when people say, oh, if it tastes like a meadowfoam or if it tastes like a this, there's no point of reference. So what do you know of Australian honey? What does it taste like? What is it you...
The only Australian honey I've ever had was eucalyptus honey.
I guess what he's asking is, how do you describe what a meadowfoam really tastes like, or what a fireweed really tastes like? Because he doesn't have anything to base that on, because they don't have anything like that. Yeah.
No reference.
When I taste honey, right, I always make sure that it's almost forming before it starts to crystallize. That way I know all the full flavors in there and all the water's gone. And meadowfoam honey is like eating a vanilla marshmallow. It has that type of taste to it. It's like eating a nice puffy marshmallow. Fireweed has a good sweet texture taste to it. It's almost like because you can't try. I base everything off of clover because most of my beehives are in clover fields, and that's a very sweet honey. It's a gold color. It's very sweet. Fireweed is a lighter colored honey. It's not as gold in texture, and I don't think it's as near as sweet as clover.
I think the only point of reference honey that I can get that you get is orange blossom. That's about the only one, and people say that varies dramatically anyway. But that's about the only honey I know that you can get in the US that I can get here.
Now, orange blossom honey, when you taste it, you feel that you taste the citrus back to it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you taste like buckwheat honey, you get a sweet taste of like bread. It's almost like tasting sweet buttered toast. So if I can give you that kind of resonance on the stuff, periwinkle honey, man, I think it's a phenomenal honey. It's extremely expensive for me to ship in from Ireland, but I think it's a phenomenal honey. It tastes sweet like your orange blossom honey, but it tastes so floral. It's almost like a lavender-like tasting, like you're getting a taste of a spice plant of lavender.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
I think it's really good. Ras flowers honey, it's clear like Caro syrup, and it is not anywhere sweet as a honey, but the clarity of it when you make a mead is almost looks like water. But it doesn't have a lot of sweet taste to it. When you do a dry mead, it is extremely dry. It's like drinking a brut champagne. There's very little taste to it. Man, when it comes to honeys, man, every flower in the world that a bee touches makes a different nectar source. And every nectar source, even if I'm in Oklahoma or if I'm in Australia and I'm eating orange blossom honey, and I have orange blossom honey from the year before and it was a drought, it even affected the flavor of that honey. It may be even from the same trees, but the seasons are different, the amount of sun may be different, the climate might have changed, the nectar flow is never the same. So when it comes to making a mead, sometimes I don't think, and this is personally my opinion, it is very hard to make an exact same mead every time unless you have that same honey that was from that season. If you get like 1,200 pounds of orange blossom honey from that one season, you might be able to make that same batch over a period of time until you've ran out of that honey. Because next year that batch may be totally different. It may even come off sweeter. It may not be as sweet. The sugar content may not be as high because it didn't get enough moisture as it did the year before. I do, when I was talking to Frank from Golden Coast Meadery, he was like, man, he says, I've never heard of it like that, but we have made some chipotle honeys and stuff.